when it's on, you must fasten your seatbelt. We'll provide extension seatbelts for infants. We suggest you keep your seatbelt fastened and visible during our flight, even when the sign is off. Your life jacket is underneath your seat. To use it, take it out of the container and place it over your head. Pass the tapes around your waist and tie them securely in a double bow at your side. Inflate your life jacket when you leave the aircraft. We will supply life cots for babies and life jackets for children. In the unlikely event of the aircraft having to make an emergency landing, you'll be told to take this protective brace position.
Sorry, I got business. Nobody listen, nobody gives some money, you know, and business is very important. I need to live from something.
Hi, it's me again. Sorry to get back to you sooner. I actually just found out that I'm going to be spending the next month in the Czech Republic, in this small town called Cesky-Tesin. It's right by Poland. And, well, my grandfather contacted me. He's a survivor, you know, of the Holocaust, and asked me to join a group of volunteers cleaning this Jewish cemetery there. And, well, you know, he wants me to join, and he wants me to film the whole thing. I mean, I don't know where it's going to head, but it definitely sounds interesting, and I'll keep you posted.
And then we'll share some of what you've written down.
Sign.
You sign and then 13 days and 12 nights.
What do you write here?
AS oder Organisation auch.
When I told some of my friends, yeah, I'm going to Czech to clean a cemetery, but like, well, have fun.
But this time we're actually doing something visible. We're working on the cemetery and it's physical work, and I think that's really a good way to show that.
And this work fits in time and place. It's not really because I'm very interested in Jewish culture or Christian culture. It's kind of an opportunity for me.
So it turns out we're not hitting the cemetery until tomorrow, but it is nice to catch a quick breath. I got to meet everyone else here. The organization is called ARSP, or Action Reconciliation Service for Peace. Turns out it's a German Christian group, and most of the people here are German Christians, except for one other American guy, Miles, who's Jewish, and my cousin Dan, who came along too. I don't know, it's definitely not what I was expecting. There's a lot of mixed motivation for being here. They're calling this whole thing a summer camp. At least that's what it says on the form. It seems like these volunteers are really just here on vacation. But I guess, I don't know, I kind of am too.
Okay, the caravan is a little bit slow, so I think we should speed up because we want to get there today. Okay? Was ist gut oder schlecht? Bei mir fließt alles nur so runter.
I will put sign that it's forbidden to enter. No. Because actually, in case someone is killed, I am going to prison. I had to sign the document, so okay. I will try to keep everybody out of the cemetery, but you, because you are insured, okay?
Just from the aesthetics and the visions, you get an explanation what happened.
Right.
If you ask why this was like 40, 50 years buried on the and why it is still like this, nobody kept it, nobody repaired it, nobody even tried. It's a cemetery like this is a shame. It's a shame, of course.
Here we are. Sorry if you were talking already something.
No, we are waiting.
You are waiting. Thank you. Thank you. Hello.
Hi. Hi. I'm Peter. Hi.
Peter?
Peter.
Nice to meet you.
This is Sylvia. Hi.
Hi.
Good to meet you. Hello. I'm Peter. Michael. So David, we are filming each other.
As it turns out, I wasn't the only one there filming. Soon after we got there, we met Peter and Sylvia, who were there filming a similar documentary. I guess Peter is from Germany, and his grandparents went through World War II. And he was there similarly to find the grave of one of his ancestors.
And we have found all of them, excluding them.
Okay.
So they are the
I guess he's making some kind of series, a series of his own family history to kind of trace. I guess there's a lot of denial in his family.
But then later I'm also interested in your story. Now I'm the subject of your film, and maybe this is the plan of the cemetery.
Oh, wow.
Also to find very young people to care and to work on a cemetery. And maybe this is an answer to our research, because our research has come to an end, where it might have become absurd to ask more or to dig deeper, and it becomes more and more difficult in archives to look for names who might have been here only for a couple of weeks.
Yes, and this is also.
Ringo.
Yeah.
This is just for the atmosphere. It does not really reveal what's going on, even though you have some clues. But I guess it is just the surface of what is happening in the camp.
Okay.
I don't know.
Question when you come to Cesky-Tesin is, what is the biggest city in the world?
Takže určitě to není nějaké velkoměsto typu Mexico City, Shanghai nebo nějaké jiné.
Of course not Mexico City and Shanghai.
Ale je to český a polský Těšín, čili Těšín 1.
It's Těšin.
Protože se nevlez do jednoho státu, tak je ve dvou.
Because it's as big that it doesn't manage to be only in one country, but it's in two countries.
To je vlastně.
You know what's on your laptop? Catcher on top.
The foam?
Yeah, foam, right?
Can I have one of those?
Okay.
Yeah, I think that's.
You want me to ask
What's-
if it's cold? Because I'm not sure if it's cold.
Ah, yes. Good. Oh, those look amazing. How do you say thank you? Just make it up.
All right. I'll start from the beginning here, and now I will totally say this wrong. Okay.
No, it's good. It's a good start.
I'm just gonna say it like without any accents. Kazde mesto. Katere. There's no vowels in here. How do I say these words? 64757 was his number.
Yeah. So that's quite a statement. If you, as a grandson, you have it on both arms, right? And I guess in a way, it seems to be as if you had taken a mission. To do these tattoos is as if you have a mission to explain the number and the circumstances and the background all the time, again and again. Maybe you repeat once for us the name of your grandfather.
Walter Ziffer.
Today is March 8th, 2010, just for the record. I'm Dr. Walter Ziffer. For the last 16 years, I've lived with my wife, Gail, in Weaverville, North Carolina. I'm a native of the town of Cesky-Tesin in the Czech Republic, which lies in northern Moravia on the border with Poland.
When we arrived, there was one Gestapo man that was left in Cesky-Tesin. And I don't know whether he was maybe a Czech or a Pole. You know, somehow he was connected.
After the war, yes, he was left here.
After the war. And so one of the jobs that I had, they put up gallows right in front of that house. And I stood with my rifle under the gallows. And they hanged that man right there. And this place was packed full with people. And he was up there, you know, twisting in the wind. And the people applauded. And it just turned me off, I'm telling you.
The Czech Jewish cemetery lies adjacent to the Christian town cemetery, the latter being well kept. Just a small, very small distance from that well-kept graveyard is the Czech graveyard, and there the only thing to be seen are half a dozen standing grave monuments.
If you don't run into bugs, mosquitoes, and watch this piece right there.
Well, I'm glad I saw it, you know. We just returned from the Jewish cemeteries, and I cannot describe my feelings there because they are in total disrepair. It's almost, not almost, it's impenetrable. Broken stones, stones in all kind of directions sunk into the ground, and of course nature that grew around it, that's impenetrable. So it's rather disgusting and very, very sad.
We, of course, all of us, we know that there is at least part of the Jewish cemetery still there.
Ale žil asi jsme mysleli, no je to tam.
I sort of gently but resolutely insisted that the city rehabilitate the cemetery. He claimed ignorance about its state and promised to do something about it. I mean, we've had a relationship now for, I don't know, 3 months or something like that.
Oh, it's so cold! Man, that feels good.
I know what's your idea. I will help you because I think it's an awesome idea. Alright, I think I'm done. You look so hippie. Mate,
I look like... I need a beard and then I would look like Jesus.
Come on,
no,
Jesus, let's work.
You totally look like a hippie.
It's a G-E-R. Understand that? G-E-R.
B-E-R-G-E-R.
B-E-R. So it could be something like this.
Leave it. Yeah. So I can turn. And one cutting.
Is there anything we're not supposed to pull out, or really everything that's on top of this?
You have to be very careful because although you don't see under this ivy could be already the gravestone.
Okay. The better way how to put it away, maybe you put a little bit petrol and...
So like,
I don't know.
Initiative is not limited.
That's like a great idea. Let's just burn the whole graveyard.
And it was a little bit strange because I really liked the old cemetery. I mean, I liked all the ivies and it was so pretty. And then we worked and now it's looking like a battlefield or something.
You know, everybody that we've talked to about this project is happy that we're doing it, but nobody's ever said, like, this is the way it should be, or, you know, any kind of specifics about it. So ultimately, what I've gathered is that it's up to us to decide.
So my ideal cemetery would be to have the graves visible and the ivy.
I mean, when somebody's dying and to just remember this person, it doesn't mean that you have to go to the cemetery all the time and look that there's no ivy at all. I mean, you can remember a person in another way.
Alright, we all bring in the light and then cover your eyes. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kitshanu v'tzivanu lahadlik ner shel Shabbat. Alright, now we bless the bread. We all hold hands and somebody holds the bread in between each other.
So?
Perfect. Actually, well, Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hamotzi lechem min haaretz. And then we do the wine. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri hagafen. Alright, everybody have some and now we can eat. I'm gonna go drown. Very short.
Yeah, what?
Usually there's a lot of singing and everybody participates, but...
it is quite a contrast to see the one cemetery you just walk like 50 feet to the right and there's nothing there.
And now is the time to talk with them about these issues and the history the last time. They're not around in a couple of years.
Right.
And that's the question, what are we doing with the remembering, what are we doing with the history if there's nobody left to witness? And can we change our attitude towards history once the witnesses have gone?
And it seems that Uncle Ernst purchased a set of Aryan papers to show that he was not a Jew. Okay? And the story has it that we heard after the war is that when they were in Lvov, the police closed, they did this very often, both ends of a street and asked the people for the identity papers. Uncle Ernst, instead of pulling out the papers that showed him to be an Aryan, pulled out the Jewish papers.
On purpose or accidentally?
No, accidentally. He had given his wife Gerda and his daughter Hanne a capsule with cyanide in case something should go wrong, and he had just enough time to signal to his wife and to his daughter Hanne, take the tablet or whatever it was. He was shot on the spot. They took the tablet and they died within a few seconds. That was the end of Uncle Ernst.
Just because they survived something not nice, you can still ask them silly questions.
Yes.
I think so.
I think so too.
It would be totally unfair. Imagine nobody is making fun with you anymore. Imagine how sad your life will be after that.
Can I get Jewish right now? I'm not a rabbi. I wouldn't know how to do it, but you have to do certain prayers, and it's kind of.
There are so many Germans in this camp, and have you ever thought what their grandparents have done during World War II?
Yep.
You're thinking about it, as I do, of course. And what's your conclusion?
That was a different time and different people. These are new people. History is your history, and your ancestors are a big part of who you are. But for them to change and flip a whole 180 and come participate in a project like this speaks way more and way more loud than what their grandparents did or great-grandparents.
Like this whole stuff about going to a cemetery, just be really sad and not allowed to laugh and anything. So I mean, in the end, maybe there's a dead body and maybe a ghost is standing above this body, and I think the ghost would be pretty happy to see people just running around and laughing.
Yeah, I probably shouldn't laugh so loudly here.
we're interested in looking at each other and how you react and how we react and I react and he reacts. Yeah, nobody knows. Is it right that I stand in the middle of a grave? No.
That's what I mean. Yeah.
No, but he does also. Should I wear a kippah? Well, yes, but I don't.
As you know, I'm a natural laugher. I sometimes need a theology to justify my behavior.
Нам завещал, чудный мир свой даровал. В Иерусалиме встретимся вновь, и там воспоем Господню любовь. Тум-балалай, тум-балалай, тум-балалайка, ты поиграй, нам поиграй, балалайка. Будем наш путь, пошли нам надежду, дай нам увидеть Иерусалим. Tum-балалай, tum-балалай, tum-балалайка, ты поиграй, нам поиграй, балалайка. Труден наш путь, пошли нам надежду. Дай нам увидеть Иерусалим.
Your work here is kind of symbolic, but it needs symbols and symbolic actions like this to get together and to get into the discussions. And what you get back to your parents or to your grandfather is kind of symbolic, because it is not only a story about a neglected or half-destroyed cemetery. It is more the story about a lot of different people caring about the history.
I liked what Peter said, with this trip being less about the work itself and more about the meaning behind these people taking the time to come and to care about it and the past. I thought about it and figured this would make a nice end to a piece for Walter, a bridge to a new generation that would base memorialization through emotions rather than facts. But when I told Walter about these ideas and my discoveries, he really couldn't care less. He was happy to hear that the stones were cleaned and are readable, but anything else didn't really matter. To him, this really was about work. I didn't want to make a film about work. No one wants to see that. I was searching for metaphors and meaning behind it because that's what's interesting. That's what this generation wants to see. That's how we want to remember things, to make them poetic and romanticized, like a cemetery covered in ivy.
Now they will say thanks, Johannes Siamba.